flipping houses, so maybe start before then and, just take it from there. So
Sure. So I think it really all started back in the early 90s when I was like 17 years old, and my dad and I were contemplating flipping a house before it was cool on like HGTV or anything like that. And we had gone to a couple seminars, read a couple books, but never really took action on it until maybe around 2012, 2013, when my dad sold his business, came into some cash. A kid that I coached volleyball, her mom was a real estate agent with Berkshire Hathaway, and so she helped us find an investment property. We finally just said, let's do it, and so we flipped our first house. It took about 5 months, and we made a pretty good profit, made about $30,000 off of that. So then we're like, hey, let's flip another one. And so we did that one, and that one was a little bit different. We only made $3,000 off of that one. But we were still in the green, which is a positive. And so, since my dad and I, we had flipped 2 houses and we were talking about doing even more, we're like, let's get our real estate license. And that way, every time we sell, we're not paying the commissions to agents. We're just, basically paying ourselves, saving money that way. And that over time, that's going to add up to something pretty significant. And so, he and I both got into the business at the same time. Some people were under the impression that he's been in the business for a very long time, and I just kind of hopped in on his coattails, which is untrue. We got licensed and started spreading the word about being licensed, and
just took off from there.
It just took off from there. Yeah, I mean, it was also a time when I was teaching where the school system had frozen salaries for 7 years straight. And at the end of every school year, towards the end of the school year, people were really fighting over, with the county government and with the Board of Education, the pay increases, and just nothing was happening for 7 years. And so finally, it's like, I got to do something, because at that time we had 3 children, and one was a baby, and they're expensive, and just could not survive on a teacher's salary. Amy was staying home, raising the kids, which is just a sacrifice that we were willing to take, but something needed to happen, all that.
So what would be, like, if someone said they wanted to start flipping houses or they want to invest in real estate, what would be one piece of advice that you would give someone? Let's just say they say, I want to, in the next year, I want to, like you and your dad did, I want to flip a house in Harford County or anywhere. What would be one piece of advice you would give them?
I think overall, you're never going to know everything, and so don't wait so long. We waited, 20 years before we actually made a move and did this. If we would have done it a lot sooner, I think, life would have been different. But a lot of times people just don't want to commit to take action because they don't know enough. I think there's a certain amount of knowledge that you need. Like, you do need to know, like, what constitutes a good deal as far as the math and everything. And what your motivation is, whether you're going to be buying properties to flip them and then resell them, or if you're going to buy properties to buy and hold. And so, good resource that, I've learned from a lot was Bigger Pockets podcast.
Okay.
They, if you listen to that, there's a lot of great material there, but ultimately make the decision, take the leap, reduce the amount, as much risk as you can. But anything in life that is worth, it's going to come with a little bit of risk. Yeah,
definitely.
Did you like this episode of the TMA Connection? Well, you might want to check this one out right here. Go ahead, click it.